Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Paul and Kristen, and welcome everybody to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Josh Taylor in tonight for Rich Walsh, and to answer your question, if you're wondering, no, I cannot solve a Rubik's Cube while I host this show. However, I know Paul Zeiss can. Shout out to Paul. I know he's able to do it, but all the same. We've got plenty to solve as far as trying to figure out what's wrong with the Pirates. So let's start there, because that's probably the discussion that needs to be had first before we talk about solving anything else, because this team right now is a puzzle in and of itself. Let's just cut to the chase here. I talked about this earlier in the day on Bucko Talk, Saturdays, 9 to 11 a.m., 93.7 The Fan, and we talked about specifically with this team throughout the course of the season, how they started the season and the offense looked great. And the bullpen looked great, but the starting pitching, not so great. Then eventually the bullpen started to even out a bit, and the offense continued to do well, but the starting pitching started to have its problems. And then after a while, the starting pitching started to right itself a bit, and the offense kind of lagged but came back around, and then the bullpen started to fall apart. Well, now we're seeing the starting pitching is stable, at least comparatively. The bullpen probably still hasn't worked itself out, but when it's on the cusp of probably figuring itself out, now the offense is starting to lag and sputter a bit. They got shut out back-to-back games last week, and they scored 18 runs in 2 games against the Dodgers, but the problem is they also allowed 17 runs and only won one of those games. But after that, they've scored a grand total of 1 run in 2 games in Chicago. And they had 1 run in the 2 games, and they only had 1 hit today against John Lester. So you're talking about some serious problems with this offense trying to figure things out, not to mention the fact that with runners in scoring position, this team just continues to fall flat on its face within the past week. Coming into this game, the Pirates, in the last 6 games, were 10 for 50 with runners in scoring position in the previous 6 games entering this afternoon's game. So that continues to be a problem. Now, a lot of people will tell you that those things tend to even out. Hitting with runners in scoring position tends to normalize itself over the course of a season. And maybe that's true. But in this particular situation that this team is in right now, when you're struggling to keep runs off the board, from the pitching standpoint, whether it's your starters or your bullpen, the need for scoring runs becomes all that more important. Remember what I just told you. They scored 18 runs in 2 games against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers scored 17 and won one of those games. So it's become a situation where you're worried about whether or not the offense can score enough runs to overcome a small deficit, or if they can score enough runs to keep a big deficit at bay, because at this point, it's becoming harder to either overcome small deficits or hold big leads. So now it's a thing that has to be solved as well. Not to mention the fact we got some news after the game. Ivan Nova looks like he will start tomorrow. Clint Hurdle has said that Nova is expected to come off the disabled list. They will have to make a corresponding roster move. So who's the guy that goes down? Is it Nick Kingham, who just pitched today? Is it one of the relievers? Does someone else get moved around? Does someone get sent from the rotation into the bullpen? There are decisions that still have to be made with the pitching staff. There are decisions that have to be made with this offense. They've got to figure out just how this is going to work. This 4-man rotation in the outfield, I think it's not even starting to be counterproductive. I think it is counterproductive. Austin Meadows right now is one of your best hitters. He's hitting .368 in 20 games. His first 20 games in Major League Baseball. You have a kid that's been able to have this kind of a hot start. Why he's not playing every game, I have no idea. I've been making this assertion for about 3 weeks now on Bucko Talk. Don't touch Austin Meadows. He's doing well. Let him play while he's doing well. Now, if his bat takes him out of the lineup, if he stops hitting, then allow that to take him out of the lineup. But nothing else outside of his own lack of performance should be taking him out of this lineup. He should be playing every day and contributing to this offense. And oh yeah, by the way, he had the only hit of John Lester in this game, a triple, I believe, in the 3rd inning. So he's the one guy that's been contributing on offense somewhat consistently over the past couple of weeks that's not named Corey Dickerson or Francisco Cervelli. So it's got to be a situation where you are looking now at what works. If you're in this situation and you're not winning games and you're in this skid that they're in, by the way, they've now lost their 7th series in a row, having already lost lost the first 2 games of this 3-game set with the Cubs. So now mark that as 7 straight series. You got to start finding what works. You got to start finding what works with your rotation. You got to start finding what works with your bullpen. You got to start finding what works with your offense. And right now, that might be the problem because they're struggling to find what works. Is it something as simple as sending a guy down? Maybe a Josh Bell, maybe a Gregory Polanco. Is it something that simple? Maybe. Is it something as simple as adding a Jose Osuna, adding a guy to this roster that you know is tearing up AAA pitching? He was a player of the month in April. We know he went and kicked down the door to bring himself back up, and as soon as he got called up, hits a home run in his first game. Is it as simple as bringing a guy like Osuna in that can maybe expand your options? There's a couple different things you can probably answer for that too, but the bottom line is that something has to be found with consistency here. And it seems like I talk about this all the time, that the problem with this team is that they can't seem to find consistency. And that's really the thing that the good teams have. The good teams are able to do the right things consistently over time, and that's what leads to wins more frequently. In the first 6 weeks of the season, they did some things pretty consistently, like scoring runs and at least being able to, if not shut teams down, at least hold them as far as not allowing them to score too many runs or just having one more than the other team at the end of the day. But that is the thing that we're dealing with. Taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600. We are talking Pirates. We could talk some Steelers. Mandatory minicamp starts next week. We'll talk about that too if you want to. Taking your calls when we come back. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Stick around.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.